Hi, my name is Laura Guthrie and I'm the on-site trainer at Golden Quest. Today I have with me Barry, tattoo KC5. Barry is a 7-month-old comfort retriever from Golden Quest, and he has been in training for about 5 days now. As you can see, so what I found out about Barry is that he definitely is one of those dogs that feeds off the confidence of other dogs, meaning that by himself he's a little bit more unsure because he's so used to having the more boisterous, energetic, and almost, I guess you could say, hyper energy dogs around him, that he's used to kind of feeding off their confidence and feeling more comfortable with them around. So even though we have other training dogs and there's other dogs around playing and that kind of stuff, I've been pulling him a lot by himself because it's important for him to have his own confidence and to work on that and to feel comfortable and to realize that even though you're just with another being and it's a human and not another dog, you don't have to feel concerned or anything like that. So it's been a whole new experience for him. We've been, the past couple of days, we actually have been in a private home instead of just the training annex because I wanted him to get a feel for the different happenings that homes bring. So, you know, the sound of the washer was very odd to him. He was not really sure what that was about. TV and that kind of stuff. So right now it's about him kind of getting more comfortable and getting to the point where he's like that. So because of that, he's a little bit farther behind than what's average. And I always like to point out to everybody that each dog is an individual and they all come with their own strengths and weaknesses. So obviously the strength of his is other dogs. He loves playing with other dogs. He's great with them. And he's a real sweetheart. He really is. Weakness, obviously, he's a little bit more reserved when it's one-on-one. And with that aspect, training can be a little bit more tricky because we have to really bump up rewards, which means that can't do so much reward because if you do that, then somebody's tummy might get upset and that kind of stuff. So it's a whole balancing act, really. And my main concern with him is that when he goes home, I want to make sure he's at least more confident than he was when we began. I've seen some of that so far. So the biggest obstacle, I'm going to go ahead and we'll talk about his crate training now. When he's alone in the crate, he's definitely more uncomfortable than he is when I put somebody else in there with him. So if I give him a bigger crate and put another puppy in there with him, he definitely calms down a lot quicker. But if he's by himself, he'll whine for quite a while, maybe about 10 minutes. But what I do is I usually put on some instrumental music, and then I cover the crate and I put it in a nice quiet room, and usually he'll quiet down after about 10 minutes. However, if he's with another dog, usually it's cut that time in half, if at all, especially if he's been tired because he's been doing stuff all day. He is out pretty quickly. And it is something he will outgrow. It's just, like I said, it's about him building his own confidence within himself. So, and it's getting there. He's definitely trying. And once he gets at home with you guys too, your home will become his home. Usually I say when I used to foster dogs, my point of reference was about 6 weeks in is when you will 100% see their personality fully come out. They'll be completely comfortable. I usually say 2 weeks is when like different stressors may settle. So for example, they may shed a little bit extra when they get home because they are stressed because it's a new change. They may have loose stool. That's another common ailment when they get home. It's just the stress. The body's trying to adjust. That's usually over about 2-week period at home. I usually say 6 weeks is the mark when you really see them starting to get comfortable and they're starting to get settled in 100%, and they're really starting to flourish and feel more comfortable. So with him, I like to remind you that he just made that environmental change because he moved from the main facility up to the training annex. So that's a big change, and he's away from his normal kennel mates. So that's a change for him as well. So it's perfectly normal for him to be a little bit more comfortable than usual just because of those different environmental changes. And on top of that, I thought that he would work better if we had a couple days in a private home because I wanted to kind of gauge what else he needed to work on so we could work on that. And like I mentioned, washer, TV, a little bit weird, but he's starting to settle in, that sort of thing. So again, that's another environmental change for him, and the same thing is going to occur when he does come home. So each of them work on their own stage, and with him, it's just a little bit of a slower process. And Some of it could be due to his age, but as an individual, I think he's just so used to having the company of other dogs. He'll eventually get more comfortable. It's just about him. Good boy. He's very sweet. Potty training, he has not had an indoor accident. He's had 2 crate accidents overnight. Both of those were actually when he was in a bigger crate. So we downsized his crate to be more cozy and fit. And since we've done that, he hasn't had an accident since. And that's actually a common problem as well. Sometimes if you give them too much room in the crate, they'll try to make a potty area in the back and then be in the front to lay down. And since we've diminished it to be a more cozy fit, he definitely has stopped that behavior. So he's doing really good with that as well. So we're going to go ahead and get started and show you what he has been able to overcome and work on. Now, one of the things we're struggling with is down, because down is a calm, neutral, and more of a relaxed position. And obviously, since he's a little bit more uncomfortable at this stage, he's still kind of trying to get in that groove. We haven't been able to successfully go into a down. It's normal for some dogs. Like I said, every dog is an individual, just like we are. We have our own strengths and weaknesses when we learn new things. So I'm not overly concerned about it. But we'll go ahead and show you what we're doing. Yeah, can I get up? Good boy. Yeah. Good. Barry, come. Yes, good, come. Good boy. Yeah. Off. Yes. Oh, off. Yes. One of his big things that he's been having trouble with is that right there, he jumps up. So we worked on off rather quickly just because that was something he needed to learn. Good boy. Barry, place. Good. Good boy. Yes. Good boy. Free. Good. Now the nice thing about place is that it's supposed to be a position that they can, it's supposed to be a location they can do anything on. So he doesn't necessarily have to sit or have to down on place. The whole point is for him to be on the location. And this means we were using a blanket. Just fold it up. Good boy. Good place. Yes. And I'm releasing him by the word free. Free. Good boy. So there's not much expectation for him in that regard. He's just supposed to go over there and get it until he gets more comfortable. And then once he does get more comfortable, off. Yes. Off. Good boy. Good boy. Barry, sit. Yes, there you go. Since he tends to do that little hop, I just wait for all of his paws to be on the ground where they're supposed to be. Free. Good boy. Yes, good job. Barry, heel. Good. Good boy. Heel. Yes. Yes. Good job. Good. Okay, so what I just did there is we were just working on heel. And right now, his heel is more about building up that reward history with the position. And what I mean by that is this is where heel should be. Good boy, yes. Very good boy. The heel should be right about here. He should be aligned with my, well, either calf or knee, depending on size. But they should be in line with about there. Good boy. The whole point is for him to be in line. If he's ahead or behind, he's not in the heel position. So right now I'm just building up the reward history with that. And actually, yes, good boy. Good. Great. And what I encourage is that when you stop, good boy. When you do stop, good job. Whether you're at a crosswalk or just in the middle of your walk, wherever you are, if you decide to stop in the midst of your heel, then I expect for the dog to stop as well. So that's why you saw me when I did pause, I lured him into a sit. And the reason I did that was because I want it to be an automatic response from him. Good. I want it to be an automatic response from him, free. And not me asking him to sit. Because I don't want him to always listen for me to say that. I want him to automatically know, oh, if I stop, if my handler stops during a heel, then I should sit down. And that's just a nice thing to have them do for different purposes. Like I mentioned, if you're at a crosswalk, it's just safety precautions. It's really nice to have the dog do that. Free. So sit is his best one. No. Off. Yes. Off. Yes. Good. Very touch. Yes. Good boy. Very touch. Yes. It's okay if he's licking a little bit with his touch. He's still doing a touch. Yes. Good boy. Touch. Yes. Good boy. Well done. Okay, good boy. Off. Good job. Great. Good boy. And so as you can see, getting it on his own is not exactly his favorite pastime when it comes to the crate. He's perfectly fine if I put him in there and close the door. Like I said, he'll whine for a little bit, but not too much. But this is the kind of the point we're at with the crate itself. And again, this is more so about his confidence level, feeling comfortable going in the crate by himself versus me helping him. And that's perfectly fine. Good boy. So I'm not going to push him because I want the crate to be fun for him. Yes, I put him in it at night. But the whole premise is to eventually learn that he can be in there and go in there by himself. And I'm not necessarily going to always close the door and that kind of stuff. So it doesn't always mean he has to go to bed. So it doesn't always mean something in his eyes negative. Good ways to increase value of the crate. No. No. Off. Off. Yes. Good. Great. Good boy. Great. Good job. Great. Yes. Good boy. Great. Yes. Good job, Barry. Yay. Well done. So I gave him a little bit more excitement there because if you noticed, he put one of his back paws in as well and not just his front end. And like I said, I'm not going to push him to go in there. A good idea is to feed his meal in there. That can really bump up the value of the crate. Yes, good boy. Well done, Barry. Sorry. Good boy. You gonna get that? Oh. Oh. Good boy. Yay, free. Good job, buddy. Yay. Well done. Yeah. Yeah. So I don't want to party too crazy to freak him out and make him think, oh my gosh, this woman's crazy. But I wanted to party extra for him. Good boy. Well done. That was a breakthrough for him. He put all four of his paws in. Good boy. Yes. Good job, Barry. Yay. Good boy. Yes. Oh, well done, bud. So, all in all, I mean, he's trying his best. Is he where I was hoping he would be at this point? No, not necessarily. Again, but like I said, it's because I'm kind of pushing his comfort zone. I'm asking him to be without dogs, and I'm asking him to take things directly from my hands, which he actually wasn't too sure about doing at first. Yeah. So I'm pushing him outside of his comfort zone because I want to see where his limits are, and I want to help him try to get over as much of that as he can while he's with me. So all in all, he is trying his best. I'm hoping to see much more improvement from him, obviously, before he comes home to you, but I'm impressed that he has been trying. Because some dogs I've worked with in the past have been a lot more reluctant than this, especially if they've been attached to litter mates or other dogs and they've expected that confidence boost. He's done really well without it here recently, so I'm really impressed with that. So he's definitely trying to get there, and he's willing to. It's just about, the biggest thing with training is to be patient with the dog. Like I said, I'm pushing him out of his comfort zone, but I'm not shoving him. You know what I mean? So making him make those small steps. I'm asking him to make small compromises out of his comfort zone and not full on shoving him. So like with the crate, yes, I'm asking him to go in there by himself, but I'm not shoving him in. All in all, I'm pleased with him as an individual dog and how he's trying his best. I definitely am hoping to see some improvement with him. But if you guys have any questions or concerns, please go ahead and give us a call, and we will try to answer all of your questions. But I'm pleased with how hard he's trying. He is trying very hard. And it is hard when you have to learn to be a big, independent boy like that. Yeah, Mr. Barry. Good boy. He's sometimes, so we talked about crate training. We talked about his potty training, so he really doesn't do it in the house, but he had those accidents in the crate. We mentioned that. Lastly, I wanted to mention that with toys, I've seen him chew toys a handful of times thus far. Nothing too crazy. He's never been one to be overly exert himself into toys, but I noticed once everything's really calm and mellow around the house, he will grab a toy and chew for a little bit. So it's kind of nice. It's a bit of a novelty though. I think, and again, like I said, once he gets a lot more comfortable, I think that'll be a bigger pastime for him. He tends to he really likes the rope, one of the rope toys we have, and also one of the antlers. But that's pretty much it. So we'll see you guys next week for the next update to see how well he's doing. Yeah. Okay.